Hello everyone, I'm Professor Geek. Welcome back to the channel. Let's talk about Bill and Ted Face the Music. It is a film that has been looked forward to and desired by fans for years and years and years, ever since Bogus Journey was such a hit. And it seems like these movies have always tried to struggle uphill to be made. Certainly, the first film was shelved for a while even. The second film was a huge success, and it's a mystery as to why we never received a third one. You know, that was such an issue or a trial to receive. And now, in the current Hollywood climate, a third one is released. And then the news came out that, oh, by the way, they've switched the genders. They've changed the genders of Bill and Ted's children. They're going to have daughters now instead of sons. Not only that, but obviously the late, great George Carlin can't be a part of the film. So Rufus's daughter will be in there. Daughter. Rightly so, in today's climate, given how everything, Hollywood is completely ruled by agenda. Agenda has made its insidious way into everything. Agenda comes first, far before story. That's just the way it is in Hollywood today with the ideologues who run Hollywood. So rightly so, people said, this is ridiculous. It's going to be another agenda-driven film. And that was the consensus, and people were outraged, rightly so, who are tired of agenda over story. Well, Ed Solomon, the co-creator, co-writer, immediately went out on the warpath and tried to not tell audiences that, hey, look, I appreciate your concerns. I know you're fans. Thank you for your support throughout the years. I just want to assure you, this isn't that. No. He's one of the liberal elite Hollywood. So he's going to tell you you're stupid. He's going to come out being very angry about it. That's what he does. He's one of them. Now, it doesn't matter. I mean, most people in Hollywood tend to be raging liberals, so that's not an issue as to what their political leanings are. The issue is, do they allow or do they use their platform that they have through the entertainment industry to preach politics? Ed Solomon, yes. Answer is firmly he does. Go look at his Twitter history. He makes no bones about preaching politics through the platform that he's gained through the entertainment industry. People don't follow him on Twitter because they really like his social commentary. They follow him because they like his movies. And he's going to use that platform to preach to them. He's done that. That's just a matter of research. Do it. It's a fact. So we have this man who's has a proven record of preaching through this platform that he has through Hollywood, and now he's trying to tell us that nope, the decision to change the genders, nope, had nothing to do with agenda, and there's no agenda in the film. There's no agenda in the film, and for whatever reason, a number of YouTubers who I greatly respect. None of this is going to sour me towards these YouTubers at all. I'm not fan man. Be very clear. I have nothing but just respect and admiration for Midnight's Edge. I certainly enjoy Mecha-Random, Doomcock. I don't know if Doomcock has done anything on Bill and Ted or not, but no, I love these channels. But I couldn't disagree with them more in this instance, and I don't really understand why there's this sort of consensus out there with a lot of these channels trying to come around in support of the movie. Midnight's Edge did an interview with Ed Solomon. I think his first name's Ed. If I get that wrong, whatever, his name's Solomon. Did an interview with him recently, and I watched the interview. And again, it's trying to let's let people know that this isn't an agenda film, so they'll go out and support it and go out and give it their money. I can't understand the level of naivete that is willing to accept this. Now, maybe it's true. Or it's true in this part. Maybe it's true that there's very little agenda in the film. Maybe other than the gender swapping of Bill and Ted's children, maybe there's not much agenda in it. Okay, maybe. Is that really okay with you, though? We have this amazing opportunity right now coming out of this socially distanced world in which Hollywood has been losing money, and they're desperate to get us back. We have a great, strong hand to play here, and we can demand that they return to the days where you give us what we want. You stop telling us what you want us to want. And instead of that, we're so desperate to go back to the movie theater that we're just going to say, yeah, it's okay, there's a little agenda. Come on, yeah, we'll come back. It's okay that there's a little agenda. That's absurdly naive, too, to think that that's going to stay that way. I mean, maybe you personally are okay with that. Well, I don't mind a little agenda. I mean, I can overlook things like that. You really think that that's going to be all you're going to have to overlook? You know how these ideologues work. Look at the history. Look how they've crept into Hollywood and slowly put out a little more, a little more, a little more until they completely own the city in terms of the entertainment industry. You really think that they're going to stick with that? They're going to be happy with just putting out a little bit? No. Next time they'll put out a little bit more, a little bit more. They'll get you back. They'll get you back in there. And people are so eager to throw discernment out the window, so desperate for some reason just to go back into a movie theater or to be excited about a movie on Twitter with all the cool kids, that they're willing to just overlook this. And it's nonsense. It's utter nonsense. Look at Solomon's defenses of this film, or just specifically of these changes, right? Because that's all the agenda that we know is in there. We know that is agenda. If you truly think that decision's not made from agenda, I don't know what to tell you. You're not using logical, reasoning. But let's say, so that's all we know. But even if that's it, all the agenda in there, it's enough. That's too much. First, he came out and tried to use the argument that, well, in Bogus Journey, we didn't really say the gender of the children. You just see them as babies. He tried to insult our intelligence at first. Please, stop it. They called them Little Bet, Little Ted, Little Bill. Yes, women can be named Theodora. Yes, women can be named Billy. But no woman goes by Theodora, or is called Theodora, and goes by Ted. No woman is named Billy and goes by Bill. That's not a thing. Stop trying to pretend that it is. If it was intended, then they would have made a joke about it. It would have been something that was drawn out at the end of Bogus Journey. But they didn't. So stop it. They were sons. That's what you intended. Stop trying to pretend at first, as he was, that was going to be, well, it was always either or. No. Now he's changed his argument now. If you go back and listen to his interview on Midnight's Edge, he's, again, he doesn't come across this as any kind of like, look, I understand your concerns. We appreciate fan support. No. He's angry. He uses a lot of profanity and talks about how angry he is when he hears this, that there's agenda in the movie. And he tries to shifts the goalposts of the arguments, and then wants to talk about how Hollywood's been against this movie from the start, and it's just been an uphill battle, and blah, blah, blah. As if agenda means that Hollywood's going to make things easy for you or roll out the red carpet. No, that's why you put agenda in your movie as a filmmaker, so that you can grease the wheels of Hollywood a little bit. So you're truly going to, and everybody's just willing to accept this. Everybody wants to believe, and I get it. You want to believe that the new Bill and Ted movie, because we've been waiting for it for so long, will be great. It won't be the agenda-ridden. Even if there is this change, well, maybe it's not because of agenda. And he tries to argue, he says that it's not agenda, it's because the story just didn't work with Sons. It just didn't work. It felt derivative, and it just didn't work until we made the Sons daughters. And I just cannot believe that people are believing that. People are buying that nonsense. Like, oh, okay, yeah, so it's not agenda-driven. Yeah, Solomon said it. I'm going to go lay down my money for the movie. What is your reasoning here? How in the world could Sons for Bill and Ted make the story not work? That's absurd. That's Solomon just trying to slip that one past you, and people are so willing to swallow it in their desperation just to have a good movie to go to. That's nonsense. There's nothing about having sons rather than daughters that would suddenly make the movie not work. Or suddenly make it derivative of what? It's the third installment. It's gonna be derivative of the first two. That's what we want. Newsflash, we don't want you to reinvent the wheel here. We want another funny, amazing buddy movie. You can change settings and stuff like that. You can do little things like Bogus Journey stepped up, bringing in the afterlife aspect. You can do that, but stop trying to reinvent it. We want what works. There's no reason in the world that having Bill and Ted have sons would somehow not make the script work. That's nonsense, Solomon, and that's what he wants you to swallow. He wants you to think that this man, Solomon, who has got this proven track record of preaching his politics through his platform, in this climate today of agenda everywhere, he wants you to think that their decision to change the sons to daughters in the movie had nothing to do with politics or nothing to do with the social political agenda. How can you possibly believe that? How can you possibly believe that? The fact that Hollywood was against the movie is all the more argument for why they'd want to change something around a little bit to make it more acceptable or palatable to Hollywood. That was an agenda-driven choice. There's nothing wrong with daughters objectively. Okay, they had daughters, whatever. The problem here is that the precedent you're setting. The problem is you're trying to ignore that the choice was made and the change was made due to agenda, because it was. You're trying to give them a pass on that. And make no mistake, Hollywood is watching. Hollywood is watching so carefully right now. They are trying to see what they can get away with and what they have to change. They know they've lost money. They know they've made people angry. And especially because of everything that's going on in the world with theaters closing down and everything like that, they're ready. They're prepared to make certain changes. But they don't want to change, and they're not going to change any more than they have to. And they're waiting to see what you will just shut up and take. And if everybody just gets on board and goes along with the cool kids, and how dare you dissent, this movie's great, I saw it and I thought it was so funny and I didn't see agenda, blah, 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 and somehow just pretend that the daughter's thing isn't worth due to agenda. If you do that, you tell Hollywood, yeah, it's okay. Just play it cool for a little while and then it'll all be good. Business as usual. Yeah, business as usual. No biggie. No biggie. No need to change your stripes. It's all good. It's all good. That's a free pass you're giving Hollywood. So you can rant and rave in the comment section about how, oh, you haven't even seen it, whatever. You don't talk to me about wanting good story out of Hollywood if you're willing to go swallow this stuff. You have to draw a line, and you have to be strong, and you have to be discerning and say enough is enough. I'm not dealing with this nonsense anymore. If you're going to completely change genders of characters between a second and third film, for crying out loud, this should not be something that people are just willing to go, oh, okay, I mean, they said it wasn't agenda-driven, so maybe. It's ridiculous. Use your brain, folks. Use your brain. You won't. You'll go see it, and you'll trade your ability to squee over it online and social media, and be in line with your favorite YouTubers and whatever. You'll trade the wonderful hand you have right now to actually change anything in Hollywood. You'll trade it just so you can go celebrate a movie. And don't talk to me later about how you're angry that the next Star Wars film or the MCU continues to do blah, 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 or whatever. Whatever. You lose your credibility when people flip-flop like this. Absolutely lose credibility. And it's a shame. And I'm not necessarily saying that about all the specific YouTube channels out there that are doing it. As I said, I still like these channels quite a bit. But it bears watching. It bears watching. No one's going to agree with anybody or any one channel all the time, certainly. Shouldn't, in fact, if you're thinking for yourself. But when these big issues creep up continuously, then you want to watch. You want to watch and see, okay, where is the sincerity level and whatnot. But anyway, my thoughts on Bill and Ted Face the Music. I don't care what you say. Enough is enough. And they blatantly switched genders of some big characters in the film for the sake of agenda, for diversity points, so they could grease the wheels of Hollywood. Now they're trying to pretend that wasn't the reason, and people are willing to swallow it for some bizarre reason, and it's nonsense. It's utter nonsense. Give Hollywood about 20 years. It's not going to be fixed anytime soon. Enough with the silly little hope and the rumors. It's done. It's done, folks. Stop it. Nothing good's coming from Hollywood. You won't let it, for one thing, but they're certainly not going to move 1 inch that they're not absolutely forced to. So that's the nature of things. I will always be here, calling it as I see it. And until next time, keep enjoying and digging deeper to the older, wonderful, non-agenda driven stories you love. Thanks for watching.